Um, okay. I just felt like doing a video, and recently at the part I've gotten to in One Piece, they've gotten this new straw hat called Brook the Skeleton. I just felt like doing a quick thing on my opinions as of the straw hats as a whole. My opinion on just the straw hat group in general. Because it's one of the most amazing groups in any show I've ever seen. Because when I say a group, I'm not talking about the Bleach captains. I mean people that travel together and do pretty much everything together. Not just a bunch of really powerful guys in a meeting where they pretty much stand around or sit around or talk, but actually go out and do things together and are actually part of the whole story. They're part of the big story. They are the big story, really. And it's just I felt like doing a video on them. Plus, I wanted to make sure my mic was still working because I went through some virus problems lately on my computer. But yeah, the Straw Hats, they're just this really amazing group. And, like, I'll explain why I think so. Well, they're each important to the story. It's not like Luffy is the only thing that you're going to focus on. In fact, I focus on him the least of all the Straw Hats. He's the one I focus on the least amount. Most of the time, my attention's drawn to any of the others because they pretty much each take just as much focus as any of the others. None of them are really grabbing any attention, like Sasuke from Naruto. Remember how he was grabbing a lot of attention? You don't really run into that with the One Piece. They all get enough attention that you're satisfied. At least I am. And they all have dreams, They all, and I did my whole video on dreams, so you know about my opinion on that. But yeah, it's not like Luffy is the only one with the dreams, or like only one or two of them have dreams. They all have dreams. They're all big dreams. They're all working together. It's quite amazing. Most groups there's like maybe one dreamer, one or two, and that's usually the main character, like in Naruto. But in this one, they've all got goals. They've all got something planned out, and they're all different. None of them are the same. None of them are trying to do the same thing, which really makes them stick out because it proves my whole point that, just because you all have separate dreams doesn't mean you can't work together. Another thing about the Straw Hats I really like is that they all serve positions on the ship. A lot of times there's always that one person who's completely useless. Well, now I just saw an episode with Brook where he really failed to do even the simplest of chores, but I think he still will serve a purpose on the ship. I have faith in you, Brook. But yeah, they all serve very important positions. I mean, you could say a musician's not important, but I don't know. To me, the Brook being a musician and singing a song that's really old about the age of pirates ties into the pirates of the past. But that's just me. But they've all got something important on the ship. I mean, they've got one of them's a cook, that'd be Sanji. One of them's a doctor. Without those two, they would have been dead a long time ago. They got a navigator, Nami. She pretty much makes sure they get from point A to point B, because before her they pretty much just drifted wherever they wanted to go. We'll make it there eventually if we just go where the wind and the waves take us. Yeah, they need Nami to get them to where they have to go. They've well, Usopp, he pretty much is their sniper, and he pretty much invents little gadgets and stuff, and that's kind of what Frankie does, but Frankie does it on a bigger scale, where he invents, like, whole ships and stuff. And Zolo's a swordsman, but you see what I'm saying. They all have something important. Even if it's not important on the ship, like, Nico Robin, she's an archaeologist, which really isn't important for a pirate ship, but you'd be surprised how many times it ties into the actual story. It's actually quite more useful than you would think. So I like the fact that they've all got a purpose besides being there. And is it just me, or do the Straw Hats just have like the best parties? I'm sorry, they seem to be able to enjoy themselves really, really well. It's pretty funny. I mean, everywhere they go, it's a party. I'd say ever since they started, they've been a pretty fun ship to be. It'd be a pretty fun ship to be on. You have to admit, if you could pick any of the pirate ships you want to go on, the Straw Hats would be the funnest one to have a party on. And it's funny because you think party you need a lot of people. Well, Straw Hats are one of the yeah, I'd say one of the shortest pirate groups in the entire Grand Line. I mean, Blackbeard's only got 5, but still, yeah, so Straw Hats have the best parties in my opinion, and they've all got these not it's they've all got these sad and interesting pasts that actually tie into their character. Instead of just any old past where this is kind of where I see a lot of people complain about Naruto's flashbacks. They're not important. I can kind of see that in comparison to One Piece, where each flashback actually has purpose for being there and tells us information we didn't know before. Well, whereas Naruto kind of just gave us more. It just kind of put more depth in the character. It didn't really tell us anything we didn't know. So the past of each of these Straw Hats is very interesting and very sad. A lot of people think Nico Robin had the saddest past. I hate to disagree. I mean, it's pretty rough debate. A lot of people think Nami also had the roughest past. I don't know. I thought Chopper and I think Chopper had it pretty rough, and Brooke had it pretty bad too. I mean, just drifting there for 50 years. My God. And another thing, Brooke, when I say drifting, I mean he was on his boat. He was part of this ship, and he lost all his comrades, but he couldn't die because he's already dead, but he got revived from his devil fruit that cursed him to having to stay alive. It gave him another life. He can die. Yeah, they have all these interesting and sad pasts. It's not like one or two of them have very interesting sad pasts. They all have. There's a story behind each and every one of them. And none of them repeat at all. They're all very interesting and unique. And what else do I like about the Straw Hats? They work really well together. How a lot of times, like in Naruto, how some of the ninjas that were on the same teams work together. Well, that's kind of the same case with the pirates in One Piece, except for the Straw Hats. Any of them can work really well with any of the other ones. Well, except for Zoro and Sanji. They don't really cooperate. But other than Zoro and Sanji, they all can work really well together, and they really have these awesome battle tactics. Because, well, I could talk about the way battles are done in One Piece, but that'd be a whole nother thing. But yeah, the way they're all able to work together to bring unity to their powers is very interesting, to their skills and such. And I just think the Straw Hats is one of the best groups. Now, they are a pretty big group right now. Usually groups are like 3 to 5 people. And that's kind of how it started. The series just, you picked one of these people up at a time. And, it's not like you got them all at once, kind of like in Naruto and Bleach. Well, Bleach, yes, each of those people did have their own story beforehand. They became part of Ichigo's group all at once. So, and that was another thing I liked about the Straw Hats, is they each had their own separate arc that you know, I hope it didn't cut off there. If it did, I'm sorry. They all, but like I was saying, they each have their own separate arc that's very, like, it's a whole story. It's not just a little thing to introduce the character. And that's my opinions on just the Straw Hat Crew. If there's anything I forgot to mention, go ahead and leave a comment about it, or if you want to, leave a video response what you think about the Straw Hats. If I forgot something. Well, that's my opinion on the Straw Hats.